Hey guys, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles! Resolve. In the last episode, we had our first cross-examination of this trial, and we managed to pull through somehow. It wasn't that easy, but we managed, so everything is fine. But all of a sudden, Mr. Shamspeare appeared, and he is the victim. And he keeps claiming that Mr. Natsume was the one who poisoned him. So, we are about to hear what he has to say in detail. So let's get going. Alright, so that's Mr. Shamspeare. But who's that other man beside him? Yes, I feel sure that we've caught a glimpse of that man before.
State your names and occupations for the court, please, witnesses.
A writer of words so sweet they do scent the breeze, and inventor of ideas so profound they compose the earth. The unrivaled poet, the unmatched scribe, William Shakespeare, were the great bard to be recalled to life anew. Eo, what a magnificent man! Good fellows, I am he who ponders such miracle, William Shamspeare.
The name's Metaman. Adrian B. Metaman. I work for the Atlaman Gas Company, Eastern Branch Office.
Ah, I remember now. It was yesterday on Briar Road. Oh yes, she's right. It's him. Oh, what's this? What's that man doing over there? He looks like he's trying to see into Soseki-san's lodgings. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Excuse me? Could we have a word?
Oh,
Yes, we spotted him outside Mr. Garrett's house that morning. And he's a gas company employee. What does he have to do with this case?
So, Mr. William Shamspeare, you are the victim in this miserable affair, correct?
Oh heaven, oh hell, do you command me to remember? That sweet poison that didst cross me and cross mine innocent lips.
I subpoenaed him for the trial, with his doctor's permission, naturally. Hearing the testimony of the aggrieved will remove any room for doubt from the jurors' minds, I'm sure.
Behold, you have only to rearrange the letters of my name to see that it means a seraph, an angel, indeed. Thus be I noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verily honest of art, as all heavenly angels be. Because there isn't a less contrived meaning in your name. No, not at all. The jurors seem to be very moved by this man, I'm afraid. They're actually taking his seraph anagram idea seriously.
Thank you, witnesses, for your illuminating introductions.
But my lord, what's the man next to Mr. Shamspeare doing here? The gas man, I mean.
What, me? Well, now...
Allow me to enlighten my learned friend. You recall, I presume, your earlier impertinence, when you suggested that the victim had another visitor to his room on the night in question, and moreover, that the victim is a compulsive liar.
What? No, I didn't quite say that.
This young chin-stroker is here to controvert your wild claims conclusively. Is that not so, Mr. Meterman?
Hang on, no, I'm just here.
I hereby call for your formal testimonies. You will tell the court as lucidly as possible what happened on the night in question.
One might smile and be a villain. Yes, It doth pain me, but let the truth be spoken, the truth of that wintry night of my discontent. Witness testimony. The wintry night of my discontent. The snow lay about, my neighbor did cometh in the evening, bearing a gift of tea. But marry, bitter was his drink, and when he left, I did fall prostrate on my table. 'Twas the tea alone that did pass my lips that late hour, naught else.
I was outside this bloke's window in the freezing cold all night, keeping an eye on his room. No one else was in his room but that short little round black Eastern fella.
Okay. Wait, what did you say? You were keeping an eye on Mr. Shamspeare's room all night?
That's right, 'cause the bloke's window is all but blocked up, isn't it? But there's a little gap in the bricks where you can see into the room. So I spent the night trying to keep my teeth from chattering as I peered in through that.
The question is, sir, why?
Well now, that's because he's on my list.
What a piece of work is a man! Wherefore wouldst thou not stare in wonderment?
What are you talking about?
This buzzing busybody hath no part in this play. I pray thee, pay him no heed, make no more ado about his tedious words.
What you say about me?
Calm yourself. This court is concerned with what happened on the night in question. Nothing more.
Indeed, that is so.
And as the testimony we have just heard clearly reveals, there was no one other than the accused present at the time who could have carried out this crime.
It seems bleak. Well, I believe this may be the final testimony of the trial.
Now, counsel, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. The cross-examination. The wintry night of my discontent. The snow lay about, my neighbor did cometh in the evening, bearing a gift of tea. Yeah, sure. Hold it! To be clear, by neighbor, you are referring to the defendant, Mr. Natsume. Oh, indeed, sir. Perchance thou wouldst that I call him the man from upstairs.
And at what time did the mustachioed Nipponese visit you in your room?
Our meeting was promised for the hour of 9, and Io did he come to tender a gift of fragrant tea.
Details which are in accordance with the defendant's own testimony, yes.
And we were broiled in such a literary debate as history hath not seen before. By which I presume he means the discussion about who was the stronger, Romeo or Juliet. I, Shamspeare, did play the part of young Romeo, whilst my neighbor played the fair Juliet. Each of us dressed as would our characters be, to bring weight upon our merry experiment.
I dare not imagine the scene.
Frailty, thy name is woman. Canst thou imagine how dismayed I was? Yes, I had heard of the Eastern art of Jiu-Jitsu, but ne'er did I dream 'twould be a skill practiced by the comely maiden. Juliet beat Romeo up? This is not helping our case.
I believe the court has heard enough about your earth-shattering literary debate. Perhaps you could reiterate your statement about the tea that the accused brought to your room.
My liege, I am thy servant. Gladly, I would do thy bidding. This must be gladly, right? This is just a typo. But merry bitter was his drink, and when he left it for passed to my table. Yeah, sure. Let me stop you there. Mr. Natsu left your room at 11 o'clock, but it wasn't until after 2 that the poison made you collapse. That amounts to more than 3 hours of missing time. If the defendant had really put the poison into your tea, that 3-hour window of time is something you're going to have to explain. Gladly, 'tis an easy task. What? I did drink of the tea not while my guest didst tarry, but after he took leave of me. Faith, 'twas stone cold, but at 1 hour post midnight, verily were my lips parched.
Objection!
That doesn't sound normal. Nay, 'tis quite ordinary, sir. After all, thou wouldst recall our fiery debate. Amidst such argument, there'd be no time for fiery tea. Romeo and Juliet again. And who was stronger?
Mr. Shamspeare, in summary, allow me to confirm. Did you not come here with the intention of naming your attack?
But of course, my liege. 'Twas the stooped lover of words did attempt to shuffle me off this mortal coil. We all know what that means. 'Twas the tea alone that passed my lips that late hour, not else. Yeah, sure.
Hold it!
So, you didn't have any kind of evening meal, dinner, supper? Ha! Fie on luxury! Fie on gluttony! To eat thrice daily is but a waste of time. Sorry? I would that my belly were full, no more oft than the sun doth rise. Well, most heroic eating habits, I must say. Night and day do I fill my hours with learned study of the great bard and playwright. Hence is that there doth naught in my chamber be than the costumes of mine art.
That would appear to be the case, as even a rodent was found starved to death in your room.
Now I think of it, it's not just food that was conspicuously missing from that room, is it? I don't recall seeing a single play or script anywhere. For I have devoured them all. You've eaten them? Every word be within my skull. Didst thou imagine otherwise? Right, that wasn't misleading at all. Now, could you turn around, do you think?
Which brings us to the conclusion that the only way the poison could have passed the victim's lips is in the tea.
I was outside the block's window in the freezing cold all night, keeping an eye on his room. Hold it!
But the windows of that house have all been filled in. A historical artifact of the now defunct window tax.
Yeah, you're right there. All bricked up horribly. But as it happens, there's a little part of the brick walk at the bottom corner that's been opened up. I was looking through that gap.
Yes, there were a few bricks loose, weren't there? And for some strange reason, a couple of bars of soap lined up on the ledge outside as well.
I don't like going around poking my chin in other people's business, especially on freezing cold nights. But them's my orders, so that's what I'll keep doing, as long as there's breath in my body.
What's with all the theatricals today? Out
Out of interest, Mr. Meterman, after the accused had left and returned to his own lodgings, did you see the victim leave the room at all?
No, he never left. He was in that room the whole time as far as I'm concerned.
therefore discount the possibility of suicide.
How can you be so sure of that?
The police carried out a thorough investigation of the scene and found no receptacle for the poison. And since we know the victim didn't leave his room, and hence didn't dispose of the poison's container himself, it's clear that this was no attempted suicide. Only the culprit could have removed the receptacle.
Ah, yes. Lucidly explained, Counsel. Thank you.
It really was. You can't argue with the logic.
No one else was in this room but his short, little, round-blacked Eastern fella.
Hold it!
You say a short little round-backed Eastern fella, so you can't be sure it was the defendant then.
Objection!
How many other short little round-backed Nipponese with a moustache do you think there are in London?
Well, of course, it's only a narrow gap and it was quite dark, so I didn't notice the moustache. But he showed up at around 9, so I'm pretty sure of myself.
And when the person you saw arrived, did he and Mr. Shamspeare drink tea together?
No, sorry, I couldn't say.
Why not?
Because I couldn't see into the room all that well, could I? But what I did see was the silhouette of the little round back fella wearing a pretty dress. Then the pair of them started some kind of wrestling match. I tell you, I didn't know what to make of it.
I suppose. That was the Romeo and Juliet championship battle getting underway.
Mr. Meterman, allow me to confirm one final time. Apart from the accused, can you state with certainty that no one else visited the victim on the night in question?
No question. Gasman's Anna. My lord.
Goodness me. Yes, Mr. Foreman.
I've kept my mouth shut and listened up to now, but this has gone long enough. Are you all with me?
Yes!
Are we to understand that you ladies and gentlemen of the jury are in agreement with one another? That you've reached an unanimous decision?
Too right we have. Are you all with me?
Yes! Wait, no, the defense is in the middle of a cross-examination.
To be honest, I was holding out a bit of hope for you, young man. Especially after you identified those few hours that followed the accused leaving the victim's room.
Yes, the 3 missing hours as you put it.
But in the end, what difference do they make? None as far as I can see.
And since that's now apparent, there's really no reason to delay our decision any longer.
Like I was saying before, if I don't take 5 bob home with me tonight, the missus will blow her top.
Huh? What's that? Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said.
Very well. Let the court be apprised of your decisions. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings as to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty!
All of you?
Well, it would appear that the jury is indeed unanimous.
So, this time at least, it seems justice will be done. All's well that ends well, as they say. This calls for a toast, I feel. To the guilty being punished.
Oh, Get up, Mr. Naruhodo, please! The trial isn't over yet. What do you mean, Mr. Sato? What about the information I found in this encyclopedia of British law I have? The obscure right that belongs to the defense in these situations. Remember! A summation examination. Yes, that's right. We don't have a jury in Japanese courts, of course. But here in British court of law, if we can reverse the decision of a majority of the jurors, we can force the trial to continue. This trial can't end now. Whatever it takes, I just can't let that happen. The defense moves to invoke its right to summation examination, my lord.
Why am I not surprised at my learned Nipponese friend's inability to admit defeat? You choose to cling desperately to some archaic rule you barely comprehend, instead of accepting the truth.
Certainly no other defense counsel in recent times has exercised the right to a summation examination.
Because they all know that once the jury's mind is set, it cannot be altered.
Nevertheless, the right remains and must be upheld. The defense counsel's request is granted. This court will proceed with a summation examination, as outlined in the Encyclopedia of British Law.
Thank you, my lord.
Are you and your fellows prepared, Mr. Foreman?
Believe me, my lord, we know all about this young lad's tenacity. And we're ready for it.
Very well. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby call upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime for which he stands accused.
Judicial findings. The jurors' contentions. I'm really sorry, guys. I know we are not that far away from the half-mark hour, but you know, this is going to take time. So I'm gonna call it quits for this episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Resolve. If you want to see how things unfold further, you'll have to tune in next time. See you then.